Hi, this is Stacy McCaskill, your professor for international business, and I wanted to talk about the topics that are due for the first section or the first module that we're working on, and that's covering chapters 1 and 2 of the text. So let's take a look, a quick navigation of Eagle. If you log into Eagle, it's, as you can see the side here, let me minimize this so I can click around in here. As you see to the side here, you need to be reading chapters 1 and 2. There's a link to the PowerPoint for that here, chapters 1 and 2 PowerPoint. I think there's a slide I want to show you from chapter 2, and we'll go over that in a minute. But the things I for sure want you to do is read chapters 1, read chapter 2, review these slides. You also need to take a look at the new recruits video. That's definitely required video before we meet again, or before you get ready to do any of your Wall Street Journal posts or your weekly required journal postings. Make sure that you've watched this new recruits video. It's also going to help you a lot in understanding or thinking about the kind of international Go Global project that you would like to do. I also want you to take a look at The Dark Side of Chocolate, this documentary. That's definitely needed for one of the posts that you're having to do, this Wall Street Journal Globalization Chapter 1 and The Dark Side of Chocolate. You'll need to have read both Chapter 1 and watched this video in order to do that posting. I want you to watch both of those videos so that we can have the Wall Street Journal discussion for those of you that have me in class, so we can have an in-class discussion around these topics. And I also would like for you to watch some of these international trade theory videos. This is a link to a YouTube account, and I have a bunch of different videos in there listed for you to take a look at. And you can watch as many or as few of those as you want, but there are a few theories that I think it's important that you take a look at. Like I said, you can click into this chapter 1. It'll give you the PowerPoint for chapter 1 in our Flat World Knowledge textbook. You can click through this and you can see there's some learning objectives listed here, and I'll click through and it's just a good overview of the course in general. I would say for chapter 1, I'm going to go back, and there's a slide in chapter 2 I specifically want to show you. But I would say for chapter 1, all you're learning about is the different forms that international business or international trade takes place in. Of course, you have exporting, that means you're selling stuff to other countries. You have importing, that means we're buying stuff from other countries. And then there's foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment just means that you are taking your money from your country and investing it into another country. You're a foreigner and you're directly investing it into another country. So if someone from China comes over here and they buy a business, that's what we would call foreign direct investment into the United States. And chapter 2 talks about different types of foreign direct investment, meaning that you have the idea of foreign direct investment that you want to have control over something. So that's buying into a business, specifically starting up a business, buying out somebody else's business. It's any kind of direct investment where you have this desire to have a say or have some kind of control over the investment that you're making. There's also what's called portfolio investments, and these are things like buying stocks and bonds. You're buying into maybe a REIT or something like that. So it's some kind of financial instrument that you're buying into, and the goal isn't, I want to run this business. The goal is, I think this is a great financial market to have an investment sitting in this country, and I'm going to buy into this country's stock market or their bond market and do some kind of portfolio investment. There are also, in chapter 2, it talks a little bit about the two different kinds of foreign direct investment that a company would make that wants direct control, not the portfolio kind, but the other kind where you want direct control over your asset that you're acquiring in that country. And you have companies that are using horizontal strategies, and you have companies that are using vertical strategies. Horizontal, this is horizontal, right? This up and down is vertical. Horizontal basically means the same. So the same. So if I sell potato chips in the United States and I decide to go to China and sell potato chips there, that would be what we call horizontal foreign direct investment strategy. I'm doing very similar sales or very similar business strategy that I'm doing right now in my current country, and I'm going to do it in another country. Of course, later on in the course, we're going to talk about all the adaptations that are required to be successful in that new market, and all those adaptation decisions that impact every single piece of your total marketing in your financial plans. But when we're talking about vertical investment, vertical, that's up and down, we're talking about supply chain. So we have base suppliers, and then we've got distributors or different kinds of middlemen, and then at the end of the supply chain, you have your retail outlet, and then finally your end consumer. So companies that are doing what we call this vertical investing are companies that are making foreign direct investment in order to control different parts of that total supply chain. So if I'm a t-shirt retailer in the United States and I decide to acquire a factory that makes t-shirts in Indonesia, that would be a vertical foreign direct investment, because I'm basically making investment. I'm not doing the exact same kind of business in this new country. I'm actually just acquiring a portion of my supply chain in this other country. If I'm let's go back to a potato chip example. Say I'm a wholesaler manufacturer of potato chips in the United States, and I decide that I want to do all my manufacturing in the U.S., but I want to retail these potato chips around the world. I could throw up a branch that retails potato chips only, Stacy's Awesome Potato Chips, and I could buy a little shop in a strip mall in Dubai, and I could say Stacy's Awesome American Potato Chips. That would also be a vertical investment, because I manufacture the potato chips in the United States, but now I'm retailing the potato chips at a storefront in Dubai. That's what we call a vertical investment. It's not a horizontal. So it's a difference between those two different types of foreign direct investment. The other thing chapter 1 basically introduces you to importing, exporting foreign direct investments. It talks about globalization, flattening of the world, which is Thomas Friedman's term about all these different influences that cause the world to be more and more competitive. No matter what part of the world that you live in, you are able to conduct global business today much easier, and that's one of the things that's fueling this globalization or this global integration. We're becoming more and more integrated as a global economy. So make sure you read about globalization and you begin to take a perspective on your understanding of globalization's pros, cons, what are the benefits, what are the downsides, how do you manage globalization within a country, all those kinds of things. There's also in chapter 1, there's a framework called CAGE, C-A-G-E, and it stands for Culture, Administration, Geography, and E for Economics. So culture, administration, G, geography, E, economics. Those 4 things is a framework that it's a way to basically analyze a country for its potentiality to accept your foreign direct trade, or to accept your business idea for you to go and invest or trade with that country. It's just a neat little framework to help you figure out whether that would be a good spot for you to go to. And that CAGE analysis would be a great thing for the different teams to be working on and thinking about as you get ready to begin to develop your global plan. And chapter 1 also touches on ethics, and that's one of the reasons I'm having you watch this Dark Side of Chocolate documentary, to help you understand ethics a little bit more. It's also why I'm having you talk a little bit about this foreign direct investment and international trade theory as well. It's important to understand how ethics impacts global trade and how it can be difficult to figure out ethics in different countries because cultures are different, values or orientations are different, and so ethics can be really confusing. It's confusing enough in your own domestic economy. When you start to talk about global cultures and that whole cage framework, it can become even more complicated. So make sure you read about all those things. Let's click in this chapter 2 PowerPoint because there's one specific slide I want to bring up and make sure that you spend some time going over the international trade theories that are introduced in this chapter. So that's on slide 7. So these, chapter 2 really starts to get into international trade theory and to define for you why do countries trade with one another. You can see here on this international trade theory slide that there are different slides that are different theories that are laid out. You have mercantilism, absolute advantage, comparative advantage, the Heckscher-Ohlin theory, country similarity, product lifestyle, global strategic rivalries, Porter's framework, or Porter national competitive advantage. So you should know a little bit about each of these particular theories and understand how these theories are used to explain trade. And these theories are really important because the theory that you embrace or that you agree with the most tends to flavor your opinion about politics and why and how and when government should get involved to either promote trade or to limit trade. And that's talked about as well a little bit in that chapter 2. It introduces you to the different political systems that are around the world and also the different legal systems. I think a lot of times students, when they first get introduced to international business, they don't realize that there are two, well, really 3 core different ways of looking at law around the world. You've got common law, civil law, and then religious law, like Sharia law or religious law, where there's a religious document that is governing the laws. You have civil law, which is like a code. So there's a written code, and this is our law, and everybody's going to follow whatever this law that the government passes. That's called civil law. China, for example, is a country that operates according to civil law. Then there's common law, which is what the United States is under, and common law is based on precedent. So common law is more, it's more dynamic, it's living, it's kind of depends on previous case studies, and that's why, all the TV shows that you watch that's about legal law stuff and legal precedents and courtroom arguments, they're bringing up all these previous cases and this in Smith versus Smith, so-and-so said this and so-and-so said this and the court found out that. That's why these things are argued in court. And what's happening in countries that have common law is you really have to know this previous casework, and all of these cases build on each other, and then that's how law is interpreted. In the civil law states, it's just the law is the law, and then you stand before a judge, and the judge interprets the law as directly and as straightforwardly as he or she can, and that's how law's applied in that area. So you can see there's 2 really vastly different systems on how just law is structured within a country, and so you should know those differences and make sure that you understand whatever countries you're entering into to do business with, that you're going to have those kinds of differences in those systems of law that's going to impact and influence your business. Okay, I'm nearing 15 minutes, which is my time for a video. Just make sure you check out both of those chapters: importing, exporting, foreign direct investment, globalization, cage, ethics, all the political theories, or all the trade theories which are listed here, the political, the legal systems, and the different types of foreign direct investment. If you get all that, then you've got chapters 1 and 2 covered. Thank you.